Let's break down 16 quick tips to help you make stopping drinking enjoyable without going to AA, without using willpower, without using rehab, without using therapy, without using medication, without cravings, without even feeling like you're missing out. I know that sounds hard to believe, so make sure to watch this video. And just before we get into those 16 quick tips, if you want my personal help stopping drinking and you want help reframing the way you view alcohol, and then we use coaching and have a community of business owners and professionals, make sure to click the link in the description and you can book a roadmap call with me. On that call, we'll actually get on a phone call and see if working together and using first principles thinking and the coaching side of things could be a good match for you. So if you want more details on that, definitely click the link in the description and book a roadmap call. And now to the tips. So tip number 1, and this is going to be extremely hard, but you're definitely going to need a pen and paper. But what I want you to do is I want you to start by asking yourself, how will life look in 10 years' time if you don't solve this problem, right? Really ask yourself that and flesh it out and write it down. Write down how your life will look. How will your health look? How will your business? How will your career look? How will the relationships at home look? What about your kids? How will that relationship look? What about your financial life? What about the dreams that you've got? Are these things going to happen, right? If you don't solve this problem, where will life be 10 years from now? Because I'm sure that if you drank the way that I drank, and even if you're not quite as bad as I was, it's not looking pretty. Right? We know that alcohol, drinking it is a slippery slope downwards and it's going in one direction and it ain't upwards. It's a slippery slope downwards, and for many people, myself included, it just fell off a cliff. It was like this slow decline and then boom, I'm in a bad place. So start with that. Write this down. Get a clear picture of where you're going if you don't solve this problem. That can help motivate some change. The second thing you can do is you can create a pain-pleasure list. What this pain-pleasure list is all about is having basically like 2 headings, right? Pain on one side, pleasure on the other, and then write down all the ways that alcohol causes you pain, right? Maybe you've put weight on. Maybe the relationship with your kids isn't great. You're not spending enough time with them. Maybe your spouse is unhappy. Maybe you're single and not able to date, right? Write down all the ways that alcohol is causing you pain. Then on the other side of the page where it says pleasure, write about the good things that could happen in your life if you were able to remove alcohol. I've gone through this process numerous times when I was drinking, and I always found it super helpful to not only think about the pain that I was in, but also to start getting ideas and start writing about dreams and goals and things like that of what would happen if I solved the drinking problem, because that's pretty exciting. The third thing you can do is write down 10 reasons why you are committed to not drinking and why you'd be committed to getting on this journey in the first place. Hey, 10 reasons I think should be a minimum, right? If you could come up with 50, do it. There's no harm in more. But start looking at the motivations, right? That's the whole point of these first 3 things, is to really get motivated to make a change. Because if you don't do something, listen, it's not looking pretty. The 4th quick tip is to reframe and change the way that you view alcohol. How do you do that? Well, you get new information into your mind. You invest in books, you invest in courses, in coaches, whatever it takes to change the way you view alcohol. What we want to do is we want to get into a state of mind where we see alcohol as a drug that does nothing for us, and the best thing that we can do is to remove it from our life, and all the great things will happen. Now, if you want more details on how you can do that using first principles thinking, there's a training video in the description that you're free to watch, but you really need to get yourself into a state of mind where you see no value to consuming ethanol, which is the 5th thing. And we must see alcohol as an addictive drug or ethanol or a poison, right? Once we're able to remove the conditioning and this idea that it's a really, glamorous, sophisticated, enjoyable activity or product, we start to see it for what it is. And all it is ethanol, right? If you look at the label of ethanol, right, it says like, do not consume. It's not for human consumption. But at the same time, that's the stuff that we're putting in our body and we think it's somehow going to help us. It's bizarre, but it is what it is, right? I've bought into that for a long time. I'm not calling you out, but you need to get into a state of mind where you see alcohol as ethanol, as poison, and as a drug that is doing nothing for you. Which leads me to the 6th thing. And once you've done that, you don't want to avoid alcohol, right? You want to be able to go out, be around alcohol, see no value in drinking it, so then when people around you start drinking it, it's like you're almost looking at them like they're crazy. Now, I know that in the many failed attempts of me stopping drinking, I used to look at people that drank alcohol and I used to want to be like them, right? Let's say I'd not drank for 3 months, I go out with some friends, they're having a few beers, and I would just feel this great sense of missing out. Once you've changed the way that you view alcohol, you should not do that, right? You should go to bars, you should go to restaurants, you should embrace friends if they drink or not, right? You shouldn't alienate people. Sure, maybe you will move away from some people, but I'm sure that there's always going to be people in your life that drink alcohol, unless you're just going to live in a cabin in the middle of the woods, right? And I'm sure you're not going to do that. Well, maybe you are. But anyway, don't avoid alcohol, don't avoid places, live your life. Which leads me to the 7th tip. One thing that will happen in your life is you will think about alcohol, right? Alcohol, it's in society, it's pretty much everywhere that we go, and you will think about it at some point. Now, what most people do is, like I said, they think about alcohol, they'll be with some friends, their friends will be drinking, and they will feel like they're missing out. And what we need to learn to do is to recognize that thought before we start going this direction in our mind. Before we start going in this direction of feeling like we're missing out, we need to be able to catch it, because you will think about alcohol. I've spoken about this on the channel numerous times, but you want to be able to switch the thought. You want to be able to recognize it and then let it go. Instead of following it, instead of creating the thought kind of getting out of control and it becoming a craving. So we want to be able to catch the thoughts of alcohol at the thought, bring awareness to them, and then let them go. The 8th thing that you must do is you must go all in, right? You must fully commit if you go onto this journey. In my eyes, this 30-day thing, this 60-day thing, it's just not as effective as going all in and fully committing. Now, I know for some of you, you might only be interested in giving it a shot for 30 days and seeing how it's going. Not saying that you shouldn't do that, but listen, at the end of the day, what worked for me was fully committing. It was cutting off all possibilities of failure mentally. It was being able to just have that cutoff point where I said, enough is enough. That problem is in the past. I ain't going back there. I'm not even going to flirt with the idea of revisiting this. It is done. And I mean, for some of you guys, you might not be ready to hear that, but it is the best thing that you can do. It's to go all in. The 9th tip that I've got for you is to hire somebody, a coach, or find some level of accountability. Now, the way that I like to find coaches to work with is I like to look for people who have got the result that I want in life, right? Let's say that somebody's got, something that I was hiring a coach recently was Olympic weightlifting. And I found a person that had the result, right? He was super strong. He's helped other people. He coaches other athletes. He was champion weightlifter, almost competing at a national level, like a really, really high level weightlifter. And he was a coach. And I said, well, you've got the result that I want. You seem like you care. All right, let's do it. So I like to find coaches, right, that have the results that I want. And doing that with alcohol is good because it gives you somebody to emulate, right? It gives you somebody to kind of learn from. And yeah, sure, I have a program, right? I do this for my business. This is my career, is helping people do this. But I'm not for everybody, right? There's plenty of other people out there that offer this as a service, but it can be one of the best investments that you make. Which leads me to the 10th thing, and it's to find a positive community that does not revolve around alcohol. Now, for example, people that go to AA, they find that community, right? AA, they're obviously not drinking alcohol, right? There's a group of people that come together with a shared problem, and I think that's pretty awesome, right? I don't buy into the whole 12-step program, but I think that there are many good things about AA. But still, maybe for you, it's like you're going to find a workout group, or you're going to find an entrepreneur network, right? What we want to do is we want to find communities that don't revolve around alcohol. Because I don't know about you, but when I was drinking, a lot of my friends, a lot of the people in my life, that's what we did together. We'd go to bars, we'd drink at home, we'd get shit-faced. That's what I did. So you want to find a positive community of like-minded people and build relationships with people in a way that doesn't revolve around drinking. So what do we do once we've stopped drinking? Well, that's what the next 6 tips will be about. So the 11th tip that I've got for you is once you've got into that state of mind where you see alcohol for what it is, you know that you've put this behind of you, is to really review your life and look at all the different areas of your life and really just choose one area to double down on and focus on. So I know for a lot of people out there, it's health, right? They've been drinking for many years, they've put a bit of weight on, the energy's not great, and they need to double down on health, which means good nutrition, getting back to the gym, maybe hiring a trainer. For others, it's purely relationship with the family, right? That's the thing that's been suffering, and that's where their energy needs to go next. Whatever it is, you want to really just focus in on one area and start putting 110% into that area. Now, tip number 12 is to, once you've kind of got that area, is to set a SMART goal. And a SMART goal, it's something that's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and has a time frame. So for example, you might set a goal of losing 10 pounds in the next 90 days. Something that you know that you can do, something that has a time frame, something that's specific, and something that is working on that area. Maybe it's for you want to add 5 new clients into your business in the next 90 days. Maybe for you want to take some new exams, some new certifications. Maybe you want to enroll in a degree. Whatever area you've decided to focus on, set a SMART goal. Make it specific, make it measurable, and get to it. The 13th thing that you can do is once you've kind of got that area, set some kind of goal, is actually go and find a coach that specializes in that area. For example, Olympic weightlifting right now is something that I've been working on, so I went and found a coach. I've done the same with my business. I've always looked for somebody that's a bit further ahead than me that can kind of show me the path. The 14th tip that I've got for you is to really focus on just trying to get 1% better every single day. Sure, you want to have that one area of focus on at the beginning, but then also we just want to be always aiming to get a little bit better the next day. How can we squeeze a bit more out of the day? How can we optimize our time? How can we make sure that we're doing high value activities? And if we focus on just getting 1% better every single day, in a couple of years' time, if we don't drink alcohol and we really just double down on that, in a couple of years' time, your life will look completely different. Which leads me to point 15, and it's to live in day tight compartments. What we want to do is, like I said, we want to squeeze the most out of every single day. We want to have plans for the day. We want to be able to kind of plan out a good morning routine, plan out our work time, plan out the times with our family, plan out the times that we're going to be exercising. We want to live in these day tight compartments and just get the absolute most out of every 24 hours, especially when you're not drinking, right? We want to get momentum, we want to move quickly, and we want to just get our life back to where we want it to be. Which leads me to the final tip of the video, and is to create faith and let go of any outcome, right? If you have stopped drinking alcohol and you know that you've gone all in with that decision, don't make that the focus of your life. You need to have absolute faith that that decision will stick and you can let go. The same way that you're going to set goals for your health, for your business, for whatever it is. Once you've set that goal, create faith. Create faith that it's going to happen, because it will. Some of you guys get that faith from believing in God, believing in a higher power. Some of you guys get that faith because you just got self-belief. And some of you guys may need to create that faith. And that happens through that 1% improvement every single day. It's creating the self-belief that you can turn everything around, get this drinking under control. Hope you enjoyed this video. You have got this. Have a great day.